by our Moorish American government. At this time, we want to call to the floor our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedo Amenti and Mohammed Shepsuel, to open our meeting according to law. Bob?
Islam, can you hear me, Grand National Secretary of the State?
Unmuted.
Islam, can you hear me, Grand National Secretary of the State?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Gratitude. Islam. Islamism without the schism. On the rise upon the seven, within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. But let us come forth with our ancient committee and adept Moorish American prayer. And as we come forth, we ask that you open up your hearts and minds as we open up the way. Islam, Islamism. Ya Allah abnu heru makuneteru, Ya Allah abhat heru, Ya Allah ma'at heru, Ya Allah hotep heru, Ya Allah heru, Ya Allah ma'at herakuti, Ya Allah ahwajeta juti, Ya Allah per im sutek per im heru, Ya Allah bamaduti, al-hajit shabsrayab to Ali. I mean, Halias. And that is the same Moorish kin in transliteration. O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Holy Issa. Islam, Moorish kin. And now we come forth before you with the divine constitution of Moorish America, salvation, our God, unity, the seven supreme constitutional acts of law. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. On a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government, and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion, or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to the triune acts, Acts 1, 2, and 3 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directed with infinite wisdom. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature, conforming to his will. Shemo Tepu, Moorish kin. Peace and love.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Much gratitude and honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedo Amenti El Mohedded Chepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law. This is Dr. Hatshepsut Chikaman Bey, National Grand Secretary of State, rising, giving praises to Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our class for this evening, giving honor to each and every one of you. Chapter 63, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Inconstancy. Nature urgeth thee to inconstancy, O man. Therefore, guard thyself at all times against it. Thou art from the womb of thy mother, various and wavering. From the loins of thy father inherited thou instability. How then shalt thou be firm? Those who gave thee a body furnished it with weakness. But he who gave thee a soul armed thee with resolution. Employ it, and thou art wise. Be wise, and thou art happy. Let him who doeth well beware how he boasteth of it, for rarely is it of his own will. Is not the event of an impulse from without, born of uncertainty, enforced by accident, dependent on someone else? To thee and to accident is due the praise. Beware of irresolution in the intent of thy action. Beware of instability in the execution. So shalt thou triumph over two great failings of thy nature. What reproaches reason more than to act contrariety? What can suppress the tendency to these but firmness of mind? The inconstant feeleth that he changeth, but he knoweth not why. He seeth that he escapeth from himself, but he perceiveth not how. Be thou incapable of change in that which is right, and men will rely upon thee. Establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act according to them. So shall thy passions have no rule over thee. So shall thy constancy ensure unto thee the good thou possessest, and drive from thy door misfortune. Anxiety and disappointment shall be strangers to thy gate. Suspect not evil in anyone until thou seest it. When thou seest, forget it not. Whoso hath been an enemy cannot be a friend, for man mendeth not his faults. How should his actions be right, who hath no rule of his life? Nothing can be just which proceedeth not from reason. The inconstant hath no peace in his soul, neither can be at ease whom he concerneth himself with. His life is unequal, his motions are irregular. regular. His soul changeth with the weather. Today he loveth thee. Tomorrow thou art detested by him. And why? Himself knoweth not, wherefore he now hateth. Today he is the tyrant. Tomorrow thy servant is less humble. And why? He who is arrogant without power will be servile where there is no subjection. Today he is profuse. Tomorrow he grudgeth unto his mouth that which it should eat. Thus it is with him who knoweth not moderation. Who shall say of the chameleon, he is black, when the moment after the verdure of the grass overspreadeth him? Who shall say of the inconstant, he is joyful, when his next breath shall be spent in sighing? What is the life of such a man but the phantom of a dream? In the morning he riseth happy. At noon he is on the rack. This hour he is a god. The next below a worm. One moment he laugheth, the next he weepeth. He now willeth, in an instant he willeth not, and in another he knoweth not whether he willeth or not. Yet neither ease nor pain have fixed themselves on him. Neither is he waxed greater or become less. Neither hath he had cause for laughter or reason for his sorrow. Therefore shall none of them abide with him. The happiness of the inconstant is as a palace built on the surface of the sand. The blowing of the wind carrieth away its foundation. What wonder then that it falleth? But what exalted form is this, that hitherward directs its even, its uninterrupted course, whose foot is on earth, whose head is above the clouds? On his brow sitteth majesty. Steadiness is in his court, and in his heart reigneth tranquility. Though obstacles appear in his way, he deigneth not to look down upon them. Though heaven and earth oppose his passage, he proceedeth. The mountains sink beneath his tread. The waters of the ocean are dried up under the soles of his foot. The tiger throweth herself across his way in vain. The spots of the leopard glow against him unregarded. He marcheth through the embattled legion. With his hands he putteth aside the terrors of death. Storms roar against his shoulders, but are not able to shake them. The thunder bursteth over his head in vain. The lightning serveth but to show the glories of his countenance. His name is resolution. He cometh from the utmost part of the earth. He seeth happiness afar off before him. His eye discovereth her temple beyond the limits of the pole. He walketh up to it. He entereth boldly, and he remaineth there forever. Establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. Islam, Islam, Islam. Today is Saturday, January 27th, 2024. We want to welcome everyone to a Moorish Perspective sponsored by our Moorish American government. Much gratitude and honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedo Amenti and Mohedded Chepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law. Also to our National Grand Secretary of State, Dr. Hatshepsut Kamen Bey, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. Our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedo Amenti and Mohedded Chepsuel. Our subject matter will be coming from Ayat 9 and Ayat 33. Establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act according to them. Ayat 33, establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. At this time, Moorish Ken, also check your emails for the link to our StreamYard live class. And at this time, we want to call forth our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedo Amenti and Mohedded Chepsuel, host for tonight's class. Islam?
Islamism. Can you hear me, Grand National Secretary of State?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Gratitude. Islam, Islam, Islamism without the schism. Want to rise again upon the seven within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Moorish Perspectives, and I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Amohadi Shabazel. My ancient committee and high name being the same as Dr. Shedawa Minti El Muhajjid Shepsuel. You already know, Moorish kin, we most definitely have a grand drawing to bring forth to our Moorish kin. Very powerful measure to be brought forth from our Father's treasures indeed. We always like to come forth with our Moorish perspectives and give our family insight that will encourage them, uplift them, and guide them into the heights of divinity. And when it comes to dealing with that special aspect, only you have it within you to be exactly who it is that you were destined to be. Each and every one of us came with a soul that is tailor-made for us, and we know that the soul resides within the brain, so to speak. And give me a second real quick, family. Let me make sure I got this line right, because we already know a couple of these apparatuses acting crazy already. Okay. Islam family, can you hear me clearly on the conference call?
Now we can, more loud and clear. It was going up and down there for a little bit, 1 minute.
Okay, gratitude. Islam.
Gratitude.
Okay. So so we come for family to give our family some insight, again, for inspiration and so forth and so on. This is a powerful chapter that we're dealing with. We're dealing with inconstancy, and it's so many different measures when we get into this special aspect of knowing what inconstancy is, but we know the opposite of inconstancy is really being resolute, and it has to do with being constant in one's action. It also has to do with being established, and so I wanted to draw from these two ayats, ayat 9 and ayat 33, to go into this special drawing. And as you can see, we already know ayat 9 has gave us the instruction, establish unto thyself principles of action. Now we know the actions of the soul are thinking, willing, reason, understanding, and remembrance. So if we are to establish unto ourselves principles of action, then these will surely be actions, that we exercise through realm of thought activity. And also this will bring us in line with the acts, the 7 acts, so to speak. Our Holy Prophet told us, that Moors are to be active and not passive. Because the principles of action are active, then they should most definitely animate us, so to speak, to where we are vibrating according to what these principles entail. Each and every one of these principles represent a potency. And these potencies have a power, of basically invoking life where there was no life. In other words, dealing with resurrection or exhumation, exhuming of a nation, so to speak. These principles are what we call impregnable doctrine, and they are built upon really a foundation that represents the establishment of the temple of perfected man, the perfected Moorish American national, or should I say perfected master of Allah's nature, master of all nature, MAN. We can deal with either one of those acronyms. We know man means thinker. So we have to think in order to establish ourselves based upon principles of action, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, he said, if I could get you to think, then you would save yourselves. So this is where we know that through our principles, we are armed with resolution. This is why we look at our flag and we can see that it represents everything it is that a Moorish American should be. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's all you need to be established, within thyself, dealing with a foundation based upon principles of action. If we move according to the love, if we move according to the peace, freedom, and justice, and we are established in that, and we see that we ever act according to that, then everything it is that we seek, will be added on to us. That's your kingdom of heaven. The king's dome represent that which is above the neck. You see? In the Piscean records, you hear him talking about where the kingdom of heaven is at hand, where the hand is symbolic to the mind, due to its ability to do what? Shape, mold, obtain, retain, and so forth and so on. So if the kingdom of heaven is at hand in this present time, then it means it has to do with the level of your thinking. Whereas you in a state of hell, or you in a state of heaven. And that's why we are told to establish unto ourselves principles of action. If love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice ain't active potencies, within this universe and creation in and of itself, then what is? We already know that which is in opposition to the principles has an opposite effect, so to speak. If the principles of action bring life, then anything in opposition to that must bring death. You see? Now, when we tie this special ayat in, we already know when we get into the math of it, 3 and 3 brings us into 9. When we get off into the drawing of multiplicity, so to speak. You see? And if we deal with this, we talking about re-entry. So we have to come within the self. You see? We have to go within the self, family. But what about when we get into the aspect of the multiples of that 3 from a triune aspect? Well, this deals with, a 3-step ladder. And it also deals with, the triune nature of wisdom, will, and love, bringing us back to the pinnacle, again, of what life is spent to build. The temple of perfection can only be built, by one that is a master at building upon the foundation of love. So in our next ayat, and you can see it flowing across the bottom of our screen, 33, that's that 3 and 3, right? Establish thy heart, O man, O Moorish American national, establish thy heart, right? In that which is right. And then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. Now, we already know we was told to establish thyself, or within thyself, right? The principles of action, and see if thou ever act according to them. Now we are told, establish in thy heart, oh man. Now we know good and well we ain't talking about the blood pumping organ. We're not talking about the blood pumping organ when we speak of establishing, within thy heart. We're talking about the seat of consciousness. You see? We're talking about the seat of consciousness, the seat of our divinity. Each and every one of us, has this. when it comes to dealing with the seat of consciousness. This is your chamber of reflection. This is your chamber of resolution. Your room of resolution is what we call it in the Moorish paradigm. You see? So there are no strange happenings. So again, we're not talking about the blood pumping organ when we say establish within our heart that which is right. We're talking about, again, you have to be consciously demonstrating that which is right, or what our ancestors in ancient Kemet called the Ma'atic way. You see? And when you establish that which is in your heart being right, then you don't even have to think about doing the right thing, because it will be a part of your first nature to move accordingly. You don't even have to second guess it, because automatically there's a measure in you that tells you, you out of law, right? You know that you shouldn't be demonstrating that a special way, right? And if you have fallen beneath being able to hear the voice, that silent voice of the great God Allah that speak within, if you can't hear that, then you must be in the realm of what we call the insufficiency of knowledge, a foe yet to be addressed, in the realm of dealing with these fivefold. We'll be getting to that, in the near future. So if we understand this, and it's 3 different levels of unfoldment when we deal with the soul, even in the Arabic. And those 3 levels, we talk about them all the time: bestiality, consciousness, and felicity. Bestiality is the Lord's consciousness, is when you are conscious of your actions, your deeds, and then when you go into felicity is the height of divinity. This is where you are actually in, again, your chamber. You're a master. You're in the garden. You got the scimitar on the manifest. You're able to guard, your thoughts from naught and keep it within the realm of ought. You see? So when we understand that, and we have a clear conception of that, now we understand what it truly means to be established. And this is going through those 3 degrees of unfoldment. Some people like to call them 3 steps on the master's carpet. 3 steps to you becoming a mastermind. Can't nobody outside of you make you that. You got to be willing to go within yourself and establish within your heart. See, we're not told, Brother Shahi, establish in this brother's heart, or establish in this sister's heart, or establish in this particular Moor's heart. It says establish within your heart. You see? O Moorish American National, that which is right, that which is ma'atic, that which is dealing with that which has to be in line and with the truth, so to speak. And then the greatest of the human is to be immutable. The greatest of the human. What do we mean when we say immutable? Unchangeable, fixed, set, rigid, inflexible, unyielding, unbending, permanent, entrenched, established. So we see this word immutable means established, well established, unshakable, irremovable. And these are just dictionary definitions coming from the Oxford Dictionary. Indelible, ineradicatable. Also unchanging, unchanged, changeless, unvarying, unvaried, undeviating, static, constant, lasting, abiding, enduring, persistent, perpetual. See, this is what we're talking about when we get in the realm of what we call the immortal virtues of the soul. When you say immortal virtues, you're saying that you become fixated in that. This is what we mean when we say we solve the fix. There is nothing that can come from the outside and penetrate your consciousness and cause you to deviate, cause you to waver, cause you, to veer off the path, cause you to be a devil under the influence, DUI, drunk driving. You see, drunk on your own ignorance or your own ego. You see? So, in other words, you are foundated, family. You can't be moved. You can't be moved. Like they say, you set in stone. A sure foundation stone. Immutable. Immutable. That's powerful. Changeless. See, that's what we got to focus on being. And building this temple of perfection one block at a time when it comes to adding these virtues onto ourselves that we call immortal. And it automatically becomes, the nature of the way you demonstrate. You ain't even got to think about it. Just ask yourself, how long can you hold a particular thought before someone distracts you from that thought? And it can come through different situations. The calamities of the human state. They do have the ability to alter one's attention span. One can be right there on the manifest getting a drawing, on these type of lessons, and all it takes is a worldly affair to come forth and, oh, wait a minute, I got to go handle, I got to get out, that's what's going on. And I like to call it the hamster on the wheel demonstration. One think they going somewhere, but they running nowhere fast. Only to begin where you started in the first place. And the fool is always beginning. You see? So we have to learn how to stand on divine business and say enough is enough. This is what we call being upright, independent, and fearless. Again, dealing with that impregnable doctrine. And then we're not talking about demonstrating this to, suit somebody else outside of the self. We're saying that we have to be unchangeable in our ways, acts, and deeds, and loyal to our higher self. And by doing that, we will automatically be of service to others. All you got to do is be the love. And you will be being of service to somebody else. All you got to do is be the truth, the peace, the freedom, and the justice. And you will be of service to somebody else, not based upon conditions, not based upon what it is that someone has to offer or something that someone must give you. You see? But it's just in us to be what's in us, though. And you can only fake it till you make it for so long, until time, and circumstances unfold exactly, the dilemma that you're dealing with. What it is that you are trying to hide beneath the surface level, so to speak. And trust me, it's more tiresome trying to demonstrate that than being who you are. Just be yourself. Be yourself and know that you have measures that you have to unfold and, work on. That's all of us as, being in this human vessel. We all have a fix to solve. For some reason, some people feel ashamed that they got to solve a fix. But let's go back, because I was thinking earlier, when I was on my little job site, and I was saying, man, the thought came across me as far as my consciousness, is having, as a lot of people like to call it, the faith of Job. And we understand the nature of Job. One thing led to another, just dealing with these thoughts. These things fell on me out the ethers, in the way that he was tested. He was tested with a whole bunch of things. on the worldly manifest. You know, he was tested with, you know, the taking away of his family, you know, death, you know, the taking away of means of provision, you know, all types of measures. And it was said that, you know, that negative vibration stated, well, if you take away everything it is, you know, that you given, you remove that hedge from around this especially one, then he will surely curse you to your face. But that wasn't Job or Ayub as it is in the Arabic. That particular one stood up in the paint, and everything that was meant to be added on to him was added on to him in the end. You see? But a lot of us don't understand when it comes to the calamities of the human state. And it is strange that Job sounds like Job, because we out here trying to be about the business of our Father God Allah. And you never in a state of unemployment, a lack, you know, of industrious work to be able to demonstrate when it comes to the great God. There's plenty out here to do. It ain't strange. I went out to my vehicle and I went to get some water. Seen this European come up in summer garbs. By the time I got my water, I turned my bike. I was going on in, and he was getting ready to pass on by, and he called me. He was like, "Excuse me, sir. Do you have one of them extra waters you can spare?" So I gave him the water I had in my hand, and he just started talking about, yeah, because this is somebody that most people would think, oh, this is bomb, or, you know, that's how the average person be thinking when they think. I see people as human beings no matter how they are, but this particular one went to saying, yeah, so what you gonna do, you know, is we gonna come together and start building. He just started randomly speaking, and we want to do this for the orphans. We want to get this to the orphans, and, you know, a bunch of charity, and build communities, and then come together and then go out and build other. And you look at this individual, and on the physical, you say, well, how does he has the mean to do this? But he's talking as if he's somebody that has, you know, a contractor's license and everything. But you can tell he just moving through the land. And then after we start vibrating, he said, well, it's good to talk to somebody, you know, that's well in tune with the Aquarian age and the gospel. So y'all already know, you know, when that one came out like that right there. Then he went to talking about Edgar Casey, you know, and Virginia and all of that right there, you know, and the Caseys being up there. And so I spoke to him about the 18 missing years of the life of Yehoshua. He said, I read that 1969. And I'm surprised that somebody way down here, you know, has this knowledge, man. I can tell that you was born for what you're doing. And, you know, he just went in, and he was going there. I'm going to just put it that way. You know, talking like he was one of us, basically, without saying that. And so, nevertheless, you know, I went back in. That one made his departure or whatever. And the thought fell on me again after dealing with the Job drawing. It had to do with following the footsteps of the prophets. Now, you know, in the Arabic, they like to call this following the Sunnah. You know, Sunnah, you know, and they say this is the footsteps or the footprints of the prophets. You know, the Arabs think that means Muhammad only, but we know this really represents following the footsteps of all the prophets. So just like Job had a lesson, you know, in his life, according to the Piscean records, and he's mentioned in the Quran too as Ayub again. Ayub is the way you say it in the Arabic, but there were other prophets that also went through what we like to call brotherhood tests. The same tests that we read about in varying different degrees, they went through these things. Yusuf, Joseph, you know, if you understand the trial that he went through, the hatred that he received from his brothers, even being casted into a well, not knowing that that was basically all a part of his destiny and created fate. And this was all because he showed his brothers a vision. And he said that when he shared it with them, he said that the sun, moon, and the stars will bow down in prostration to them. And they automatically picked up on this and said, well, this represents us, the 12 brothers, and then the sun and the moon is our mother and father. You know, and they tried to, again, bury the truth, so to speak. One thing about it, family, you know, you can try to hide the truth, but you can't erase the truth. You can try to hide and cover up history, but you can't erase history. It'll come back 7 times more powerful and more greater. You see? So looking at this special drawing, they ended up having to deal with their brother as he was made an executive ruler over Kemet. He was given a signet ring, you know, a neck order, so to speak, you know, a chain of, you know, eminence. And he was given a high name, Zephaniah-Paneth, you know, which actually, when we found out the root origin, is the same thing that you see on our adept jewel that we have at this time, Sefet Penka, a Sefet Penka. And this means, again, the 7th degree of prophet. He was given that. Joseph. In other words, he received the Hierophant degree. This is in the Piscean records now. It's in there. This is literally there, and I'm telling you what the name means. But the thing is, look at what he went through. Look at how he was falsely accused. Look at how he was even imprisoned, you know, for the woman that tried to lie upon him because he didn't want to be into some mutual intimacy with her. And these are different things. I'm just looking at all of the prophets. We can go into dealing with, you know, the trial of Moses, you know, his birth in the hard conditions of Musa he come up under, you know, and how he unfolded and ended up had to stand, you know, before wayward Egyptian government, because by the time he came, there was a pharaoh that had already rose up that knew not Yusuf or Joseph. And this was during the time of where Hyksos had already invaded. So those particular ones that he was dealing with during that time wasn't the ones that had raised him up. You see? So in all actuality, he had many trials, even dealing with the people, trying to teach the people. Not only did he have to, he was one man going against the government, speaking truth to power. You know, but again, he had all of these people, his own people, that were in opposition to him, the same ones that he was trying to deliver and bring up out of the muck in the mire. The same people that he was trying to liberate. The same people that he was trying to protect, you know, and guard them and guide them into well-being. These were the same people that betrayed Moses, Prophet Musa, alayhi salam. You see? And we can go on down the line with various different examples. So the lives of all of these men in their different situations would become lessons that will also repeat within our lives, individually as people as well as a collective body of people. Each and every one of us, whether we know it or not, and I don't care who it is, those who believe in the supreme reality, God, or those who don't believe, whether they know it or not, our purpose is to walk in the footsteps of these prophetic men. You see? And there are also prophetic women in a lot of these books as well, for our sisters to move accordingly to different examples. You know, you have, the degree of Miriam or Mary, and you got the degree of Jezebel and all types of, we can go in different levels, whatever you want to be. You can walk into the book and you definitely can unfold. Or you can find yourself in a situation to where you are actually falling. But each and every one of us, if we begin to tap into our own divinity, and if we begin to really study, there's something within these works, all of the holy books, every book of truth that's ever been written. There are things there that will be of an inspiration to let you know that ain't nothing new under the sun. The sun shines on the righteous as well as the unrighteous, so to speak, right? That's called the mercy of the great God Allah. Even so much so the great God Allah said that he gave, out of his divine names, all of them, the potencies of those special attributes, that we are able to immerse ourselves in via Sebugatala. Sebugatala means, the baptism of Allah, not slam dunking your head behind no altars, neither. But this has to do with one being immersed in the divinity of those attributes, those potencies. I was mentioning about humanity as well. I forgot that particular Europeans say, no, not just humanity, hue. I say, hue, huh? Yeah, that one was really going in, Morris kid. He was going in. He said, not humanity, but hue. I say, yeah, I hear you. But anyway, what we're saying is that looking at all the lives of these prophets, even Yehoshua, when he was took to the mountain and tempted, if you reflect on your life and the life-changing events that have taken place in your life, things that have altered your life for the good or the bad, I'm pretty sure that you can go into, these particular books, of truth, and you can see where a particular lesson that has already been revealed and lived out by these prophetic men repeated itself in your particular life cycle. Just as Yehoshua was taken to the top in the peak of the mountain and told to cast himself down. We see that in the Piscean record and the Moorish Holy Quran. He was tempted. You see? And all this temptation came from himself. It didn't come from nobody outside him. He was fasting. He was alone. Every time the tempter came to him, he was alone. You see? So, we can go into every aspect of, just think about the lives. And this is how you make these things applicable to the self. Look at some of the things that certain prophets had to go through and how they were persecuted for standing on the truth. And that's what I'm getting to see. I'm going to be honest with you, family. We've been taught that anytime that we go through certain things on the manifest, that's wrath. In certain cases, the great God Allah most definitely would chastise us when you demonstrate, in a way that you ain't supposed to be demonstrating. But when you know that you demonstrated everything being right and upright and demonstrating within the truth, and the calamities of the human state come as a storm upon you, that's not a wrath. That's preparation for something that will be given greater. Because Allah will not take away anything, he will not bring a calamity in any situation to those whom are righteous, save that he has something better for them. In fact, it is said that when Allah loves an individual, that when he intends good for them, he will allow one to go through certain hardships. And so this is where we have to learn how to be unchangeable. This is what we have to learn how to be fixed. Not just when it's going good, not when everything is hunky-dory, as people like to say, not when everybody feeling good, eating, drinking, and being merry. When the storm comes, you still got to be foundated. You got to be rooted and be able to say, all praise be to Allah. You got to be able to say, surely Allah is the greatest, besides whom there is no other. I'm talking about no matter what the situation may be. You have to be foundated and firm enough to be unmoved. And too many times, this is what happened. Our people end up allowing situations to move them. And this is where you open the door for wrath. Especially when you begin to question created fate. And so now, you most definitely may have to be whipped into submission, so to speak, if you hard-headed enough, if you're rebellious enough, if you are stubborn enough. You hear people say all the time, well, what don't kill you will make you stronger. Well, what has the potential to kill you will take you off the count too if you ignorant, if you ignoramus, if you're not willing to hear and give heed to the higher self, you see? So it has to do with being firm. It has to do with being faithful. We talk about gaining and obtaining the name of faithful. Out of all the titles and degrees that one can receive, the highest name that's given right there in our divine constitution. You must earn the name of faithful. What does it mean to be faithful? You got to earn that name. Why do you have to earn the name of being faithful? That's the seventh act. You got to earn the name of being faithful. I mean, Amanna. This goes all the way back to Kemet. It has to be in the heart. It has to be in you. You see? One of the main symbols of the tribe of endurance. I want to give honors to the tribe of endurance because they seen a lot of this stuff in loop mode that we just now seeing now. They've been seeing the way that many of our people have allowed themselves to be taken off of the count. How a lot of people have chased after the gods in whom they know nothing, only to wake up being enslaved again. They seen our people taking each other off the count due to hatred, slander, lewdness, demonstrating murder and everything that harms. So this is why we call them the tribe of endurance. For the same reason you hear us call our national grand sheik the conqueror. And this has to do with certain measures of unfoldment. We paying attention to the lives and the trials that all have been through. And just because you look at Act 1 and think that Act 1 may not be going through the measures that you have been through, don't think along the lines of, well, they must not never go through. No, it's just we are fixated in the truth, and we know that which is falsehood that seems to be the truth. And we know how to get up out of, any situation when it comes down to dealing with these situations of the calamities of the human state and keep it moving. Because we already know that Allah is leading on and victory is sure. Trust me when we tell you this. So you got to be changeless, family. You can't fake it till you make it. You got to be real, as we used to say back in the day. Like I said, the young generation say standing on the business. Well, we standing on the business of the great God Allah. We about our Father God Allah business. And we rigid about it too. You see, we unyielding too. We uncompromising when it comes to dealing with the higher self. You see, even if we got to drop some dead weight and leave it behind, we going to stand on the truth. So, that symbol of the tribe of endurance is that Bactrian beast, that camel. 2 humps, having the ability to store its own sustenance and supply water when moving across, very hot terrain, so to speak. So it ain't got no dehydration issues. But when it comes down to dealing with that special measure, that's also a concept. That's also a measure that we can learn and study. Endurance. The race is not to one who's merely called a swift angel, but to those who endure to the end, the angels who obey, who hear, who endure to the end. You see? Are you a Muslim? Are you merely Muslim? It's a difference between being a Muslim and merely a Muslim. We know a Muslim is the will of the great God Allah. So can you find me anybody that can change the will of the supreme reality? Can they alter the will of the Most High? I don't care how it look now, because the prophet says it's just a breakfast fight. It's going to be over with by the time you get through eating your breakfast. So have you seen anybody that has the ability to stop the great God Allah from thinking? Angels hear and obey. Angels have a deific tie with the Most High. Angels have lifted themselves up by linking their will with the deific will. So if we understand this, then if the great God Allah's will cannot be manipulated, if your will is one with his, then yours can't be manipulated neither. That means that you unchangeable. You the truth. The truth is the only thing that changes not. All that falsehood and that faking, it comes from instability. It comes from inconstancy. It comes from weakness. All of the 5 folds that are known to man. Slave master, slave breaker, slave catcher, slave holders. And inconstancy is just one of those. In action. One of the foes in action. They run hand in hand, family, with LSD, DMB2, Lucifer, Satan, Devil, Dragon, and Beast. In fact, this is how one ends up falling into an inverted thought pattern. Remember, 1 minute you're a God, 1 minute you ain't. 1 minute you Willeth, 1 minute you will it not, 1 minute you don't know whether or not you will it or not. That's instability. That's inconstancy. And that has to do with an insufficiency of knowing yourself. That's what the insufficiency of knowledge is, the insufficiency of knowing who made you. Because if the great God Allah didn't make you, then maybe you believe you was made in the USA. Oh, did somebody make you a Negro? Somebody made you a black man, huh? Somebody made you a colored man, huh? Well, I wonder who did that. Who made you? You see? It ain't hard that ain't hard to answer. We know who made us. But whoever you say made you, that's who you give power to. You say the devil made you do it, then you gave the lower self power to become a ruler over you. I give honors to the good brothers, back when I was coming up through my degrees of unfoldment, and I was in my youth unfolding through them street organizations. The elder brother Bobby Gore, brother we called Chief Pep, who taught us, the Lord over our vices. In other words, Lord over your lower self. Learn how to govern yourself. Teachings of ourself, Lord and Master. Preparing us for what we had to receive from the prophet who took us to the highest degree of unfoldment in our divinity. Because we already know the great God Allah was leading us on and victory was sure anyway. And the problem is we more get caught up into when we fall, that insufficiency of knowledge have you trying to outthink the Most High. You're going to outwit the Most High. Instead of letting the peace be still and letting nature take its course, you're going to get in the way of your own salvation. You're going to get in the way of your own liberation, your own manumission, so to speak. Because you can't be still enough. You can't let the peace be still enough to let the great God Allah, through creative fate, manifest the greatness that he has for you. The greatest of the human character is to be immutable. That's what's going to make you great, Moors. You got to learn love and be love. Don't switch up. Because if you switch up, then it wasn't love. You got to learn truth and be truth. Don't switch up. Because if you switch up, it wasn't truth, it was falsehood. And the same is dealing with peace, freedom, and justice. See, we're not practicing to demonstrate love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We in the business of being love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's the difference between a Muslim and a Muslim. A Muslim submits to the will of the great God Allah. Nothing wrong with that in your beginning stages of unfoldment. But a Muslim is the will of the great God Allah. And again, Allah's will is unchangeable. What was written can't be erased. What is set in stone is permanent. You see what I'm saying? It's perpetual. So when we talk about the immortal virtues of the soul, in other words, look at it in the likes of the immortal virtues of the soul actions. Fixate your thinking, willing, reason, understanding, remembrance in everything that has to do with the higher self. As we are told, as it's written, as you can see it right there flowing across the bottom of the screen, Establish thy heart, O Moorish American national, O man, M-A-N, Moorish American national, in that which is right. And then know the greatest of human is to be immutable, unchangeable. Unchangeable, family. That's what it boiled down to. Can you demonstrate that love and hold that thought? Can you demonstrate that truth, peace, freedom, and justice and hold that thought? That's what we're talking about. Simplicity, family. Simplicity. That's how you solve the fix. You solve the fix by being what it is that you know. And we always say it. Our people are destroyed. And they say a lack of knowledge, but we say a lack of the truth because there's plenty of knowledge out here. This is the age of information. But if you listen to that famous quote from the Piscean records, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If you go on, it says, since you have rejected knowledge, then I will reject you and your seed after you. And I tell our family all the time, if you reject that which is right, that which is going to establish you in having some security, then you actually sentence and condemn your seeds who come after you to a living hell by default. And then a lot of people like to start talking about generational curses. You see? Since you have rejected knowledge, I will reject you and your seed after you. If my people who are called by my name will turn away from their sinful ways, that's what it said in the Piscean record, right? I will heal them. He gonna heal them, he gonna deliver them, he gonna make them priests for it. That's what it say, right? It's also written, touch not my anointed. There's a measure that corresponds to that drawing in the Piscean records, in the realm of al-Islam, where it says Allah said, I will declare war against one who shows hostility to a pious worshiper of mine. Same thing. Same message, different vessel. You see? So we don't even have to fight any battles on the plane of things made manifest because we armed with resolution and we have the power to stop the enemy from thinking. So that's what the prophet meant when he said, I brought you something that you can't tear up. It'll tear you up. And if he brought us everything that it takes to save us as a nation, notice that, save us as a nation, then anybody that get in the way of that will be grounded to powder. Not because we want them to be grounded to powder. Not because we seek for that to happen. But every word the prophet spoke is spirit. And he said, we Moors had better take heed. And that's the problem. We're taking prophecy for granted. We think the arm of the great God Allah has been weakened. We think that we have time to play, eat, drink, and be merry. We think we have time to dilly-dally on the plane of things made manifest. You see? But playtime is over, family. Playtime is over. And you're only playing yourself. And this chapter is a prime example of telling us exactly how things are going to unfold if we don't move exactly how we demonstrate. But it also tells you how one move, and how things come forth when one is resolute. You see? Listen to what it says. It say, who shall say of the inconstancy, the inconstant, he is joyful when his next breath shall be spent in sighing? There are a lot of people like that, family. Again, one minute they happy, and the next minute, they complaining, moaning, and groaning, and all types of foolery, right? It say, what is the life of such a man or woman? It says, but the phantom of a dream. In the morning, you rise happy, huh? In the noon, you're on the rack, right? This hour, you're a god, right? The next, below a worm. One moment, you're laughing. Next minute, you're weeping. And now you willeth again. And in the instant, you will it not, and another knoweth not whether he willeth or not. See, this is inconstancy, uncertainty. When you're dealing with a destination, that is uncertain and unknown, and you're trying to figure it out instead of moving according to creative fate and letting nature take its course, letting the law take your will. You see? And then you moan and repine, and complain. It says, yet neither ease, pain have fixed themselves on him, neither is he waxed greater or become less, neither hath he cause for laughter or reason for his sorrow. Don't even know why you feeling the way you feel. Therefore shall none of them abide with them. The happiness of the inconstant is a palace built on the surface of the sand. The blowing of the wind carrieth away its foundation. What wonder then that it falleth? Any wind, a strong wind. That's all it takes. And again, now you unhappy. But I thought money made you happy. I thought you having that nice house made you happy. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was the car that made you happy. I thought it was making six figures or whatever you want to call it. If that's what you're making, I thought that meant, a millionaire. I thought that made you happy. But all it takes is a strong gust of wind. And again, you falling by climate. I'm telling you, family, this is crazy when you look at it. If we were to go into our questionnaire, right? We have some grand drawings in our ADAPT questionnaire. And there's some questions here dealing with these five folds. And listen to them now. Well, we're going to read this whole portion right here. The room of resolution. Watch this. And this is page 14 in our More Science ADAPT questionnaire. It says, room of resolution. Here in the room of resolution, where thought must be developed by exercise of strength. The intern scrub that they may be just in the operation that they may become in the strength of a law made manifest. You can't do that if you ain't no thinker. Or any of 1,000 ways man must be destroyed. Straight and narrow is the path, broad is the way, huh? He must crush one under his feet and tame the other self to his purpose. That to know oneself is to be the other. Here in the room of resolution, one is always aware of irresolution in the intent of a person's actions. Here we find remembrance being called to aid as the students are asked questions to contemplate the frame and give praises to how face and fight his greatest foe. Our part of how fearfully and wonderfully man is made, and then know the patient must be made to fight his greatest foe, his own carnal nature, be it vanity, despair, passion, selfishness, hatred, infirmity, greed, ignorance, slander. Now listen to the question, Quran questions and answers for more students. How humble should man be, as he art weak and ignorant? When did man become various and wavering? From the womb of thy mother? Where did he inherit his instability? From the loins of thy father? Where can inconstancy be found most powerful? In the heart of man. So now we understand why it's necessary to go within the heart, establish within thy heart that which is right, don't we? It says, what urgeth man to inconstancy? Nature. What is the prerogative of thy nature? Misery. What is natural to thee? Grief. What is inconstancy connected with? Frailty. What is inconstancy? The calamities of the human state. Name them: intemperance, despair, fear. But vanity is beyond them all. See, these are those things, family. These are also, traits of post-traumatic slave syndrome, whether we know it or not. What does vanity do? Blinded the eye and hided the heart of man from himself. It says, is the heart of the vain content? No, it only seemeth content. The cares are greater than his pleasures. All it takes is a strong wind, and we can see exactly how firmly rooted one is, because their whole vibration is swayed based upon that storm, or those winds that's blowing upon one. It talks about that in the Grand Quran too. Say, blind, deaf, and dumb, one will not return to the path. And it gives a parable, where basically one is being helped, then all is well, but then when they feel like it ain't no help, then they go to complain. And that sounds like the children of Israel with Musa to me. No matter how many times he took that rod and split a rock and made water come from it for him, and then, brought them forth food to sustain them, manna and quail and all that type of stuff, right? No matter how much he did, the next time another situation came, they complained. Now this go on, on many different levels. This can happen, within the realm of dealing with, one's own career, their work. They complain. The Most High give them a break. He give them, more to sustain themselves with. They praise him, and then next thing you know, when another storm come through, they forget. That was one of the main things that's spoken of in the Grand Quran, that Adam slipped. He forgot. What did he forget? He forgot who made it. But when you know who made you, it don't matter how it look. The great God Allah is leading on and victory is sure. There is nothing that can take place on the plane of things made manifest that's going to cause you, to blasphemy against the Most High, to go in opposition to the supreme reality. But you getting upset ain't going to stop creative fate from moving as it does. You mess around and incur the wrath of the great God Allah because you don't want to let the peace be still. You see what I'm saying? So, it's a whole bunch of measures when we get into dealing with these drawings. All this is really dealing with the self, and it says why? Because he extended his thoughts beyond his being. That's the problem that we have. Do others like to hear the vain speak of him? No. But he said it's not. What is vanity connected with? Infirmity. Who furnished the body with weakness? Those who gave thee a body. Well, they had to be manifest too, didn't they? Well, who are those you speak of? Elohim. Where does weakness appear the most? In possessing and using the things that first desire. The same thing that you claim that you wanted from the Most High. The same thing you claim you asked for. You became so familiar with it to where it became your weakness. You see? It says, where is weakness blended in our nature? What is the source of doubt? Doubt is of our own raising. And most of our people find themselves in situations where they become doubtful. And when they become so doubtful, they begin to move and flee when no one is pursuing them based upon their doubts, falsely accusing and trying to tear down somebody else's character, in order to build themselves up. What is misery? It is the character of thy being. See, misery love company, huh? Now we know why you demonstrate. Where does it reside? In thy breast alone. Don't nobody care but you. Don't nobody know that you miserable but you. What is the source of misery? Thine own passions. Ain't nobody else got to deal with that. You dealing with that. I know it may be harsh. They may, Brother Shahi, that's me. No, we telling you, I'm just answering the questions. What is the greatest of all human ills? Sorrow. And if one ain't built right, sorrow can make them do some crazy things. I promise you that. Trust me, I know. What is thy present station? Thy present concerns? When do good things cease to be good? There you go again. In our enjoyment of them, that means you take it for granted. From whence does pain arise? From our delight. So everything it is that you enjoy, that in which you delight in, so to speak, get ready, because the pain is coming. But you say no pain, no gain, huh? I like Betty Wright too, but I don't think you want pain. From whence does sorrow arise? From all our joys. So we see, family, it's a pendulum that's swinging when it comes to this degree of what you delight in, or what you think is happy, or what you think is enjoyment for you. Name two great failings of thy nature: irresolution in intent of thy actions, and instability in their execution. Facts. Are wise men perfect? No. The wise man feeleth his imperfections and is humble. This is where you can able to say Allah knows best. When you're able to accept, you can accept the things that you don't have the ability to change. And you got the wisdom to know the difference, right? Is evil requisite to man? No, you don't need evil. What is the study of a wise man's life? The science of happiness. The science of happiness now. That's the economy of human life. We ain't talking about things on the manifest that make you happy. It ain't nothing that a man or a woman can do for you on the plane of things made manifest that can make you happy, family. Because the happiness that come with the plane of things made manifest leave based upon the plane of things made manifest. Trust me when I tell you that. What is wisdom? It is the consciousness that man is alt and that Allah and man are one. In the light of alt, what happens to the consciousness that heaven and earth and hell are not above, around, below, but in? It becomes naught, and Allah is all. What is this called? This too is wisdom. How would man know to be happy? How would a Moorish American national know to be happy? When they become content, when they know to be content. And that's the hardest lesson. All it takes is a storm, a gust of wind. Oh Lord, help! And there you go, out the window. But everybody can't go, and everybody ain't built like this. Because some people believe that somebody else made them, other than the great God Allah. So it closed out, and it says there are many more questions answered here in the room of resolution, and all are answered through reasoning. Here the young Moorish interns learn that in the light of understanding, things that seem complex becomes most simple. As the master surgeon illustrates his written words, who made you? Allah. Who made the devil? Elohim. You see? So yeah, this is something else, family. We just got to learn who we are. We got to learn to be the higher self. We got to learn to stand in divinity and not allow ourselves to be swayed or wavered. Because anybody that can be swayed and wavered, by any gust of the wind, they weak. Weak as creek water. And that ain't how we want to be, family. We want to be the strength of the great God Allah made manifest, and we strengthened through the ancestors, through our holy prophet, and all of those who came before us. We got to break this cycle of post-traumatic slave syndrome, family. We got to get up out of here. The main aspect of life is becoming a better you and being able to aid somebody else in becoming a better them. And trying to come together as a collective and build something, that's going to be monumental, so to speak, that those who come behind us can utilize in order to further themselves as well. That's what time, like I say, playtime is over. Either you want to build or you want to destroy. But you ain't finna destroy nothing going on up in here. And I speak saying that by dealing with the collective angels as well as dealing with on an individual basis. So what I'm going to do real quick before I open up this floor, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go into some definitions just dealing with the word establishment. And then we'll open up the floor to our family. So we want to go into the dictionary of the Quran, the Grand Quran. Okay. Here's a measure right here. And this is actually quoting Ayat 7. Surah 7, Ayat 10 and 11, where it addresses, the great God is addressing the people. He said, we have indeed established you in the earth, given you power therein, and provided for you therein various means of sustenance. How little thanks you give. We did determine you, and we gave you shape and said to the angels, make submission to the children of Adam. And so they all submitted. So this is talking about when the angels bowed down in submission. It's quoting this in Quran, but it said here, so they all submitted, but Iblis did not. He would not be of those who submit. You see? This is a powerful demonstration in and of itself. I'm going to go to a thing. I just posted something today, too, on my Facebook page. I'm going to show you real quick. I got a drawing dealing with that same measure, referencing the angels prostrating before man. This is actually dealing with right here. Because it's actually dealing with the Sufi paths. But it also showed the teachings of Sai Baba And they was talking about a comparison because a lot of this deal with the development of soul and the actions and so forth and so on. So they had what they call the Naqshbandi and the Sai Baba, where Naqshbandi Sufi order is the one that's prevalent over here in the West. And some of Sai Baba teachings came over. So they was comparing, these different measures of unfoldment, arcanum, akfa, and then you have God, which is Zat. If you know what Zat is called the Zat in the middle of the Bat. When you see a circle with a dot in the middle, that's the Zat, so to speak, in the circle. So they saying this is arcanium. Then it says mystery, which is Kafi. You have light, which is Nur. Then you have conscious, which is Sir. And the innermost heart, which is the conscious Sir. Again, that's what we're talking about. We got to change, that self, that consciousness, right? It says soul, nafs, spirit, ruh, which is the ka and the ba in ancient Kemet, right? Then we have spirit, ruh, over here on the Naqshbandi. You have heart, which is the deal. Then you have heart, which is qalb, which is synonymous with kalub, qibla, the direction. So when Allah tell you to face the qibla, it's there. But you see different methodologies. And in the other Sufi paths or tarikats, they have also a different measure. But all of these pathways have to do with mastering the self. And so this one has the ego self of the knobs. Even though the 7 is not here, the 7 is actually becoming after coming through these degrees of unfoldment. So this was quoting a measure from Amory Schimmel, who had did some studying of the Naqshbandi and the teachings of Sai Baba. And listen to what it says. Remember, we was talking about the angels prostrating before man. It says the Naqshbandi tradition tells us that the Lata'if, the subtle points in the body, they call them Latifs. It says it's points. It says which the concentrate is dhikr, remembrance, a recollection on God's name. A lot of this deal with polarity therapy, which our brother R. German Bay was a master in. Power, pressure points and all of that right there. The nadis in the body, that's basically what the Latif represent. But it says recollection of God's name until the whole being is transformed. Dhikr, kalubi. In other words, remembrance within the heart, within the consciousness. It says in the heart at the left breast, dhikr aruhi, the right side of dhikr and sarhi. They actually have charts on this stuff too. It says the left corner of the breast, dhikr kafi, the right corner, dhikr akfa, in the center of the breast, and dhikr nafs permeating the whole being. The order and translation differ slightly with every interpreter, but the broad meaning is there. It says Sai Baba, MS, also mentions angels. And this is dealing with page 120 within this particular measure. But it says the topic may have arisen due to the many references to the angels in the angelic word, which is known as malakut. In the Hebrew, they say malkut. It says in the Quran, when opened at random by Abdul, the fact that the Quran itself was recited to Muhammad by the angel Jibril, according to, it says, the Sai Baba, through his behavior, man is degrading himself and has lost the awareness of his true spiritual nature. For at one time, Sai Baba says, even the angels prostrated before man. And so high was his spiritual status. The spiritual potentiality of man is compared to the mythological eagle, Shabazz, who could fly high above the atmosphere. Man's consciousness can reach a far higher plane than the animals, but the possibility also exists that he can sink lower than an animal. In the Quran, it says we created him in the best of modes, yet he is a base to the lowest of the low. In the Piscean records, he said that God created good and he make evil. But it's you who choose to go toward the lower self and what is evil. And like I said, it's not requisite to us. So if we chose to go in that area, we went that way. It says if he succumbs to his own lower instincts and desires, his nabs, if he go into the low, right? When man's consciousness is not centered It says on God, then he will not act from an inner divine prompting, but from pride and ego, resulting in evil actions. This can be a brother or a sister now. When you leaning on your own understanding. As an example of the Sai Baba quotes Maulana Rumi, citing a number of times the case of Mansur al-Halaj, where the wicked Qazis acted from an ulterior motives in hanging renowned Sufi on the gallows. So we had some Sufis that got took off the count. Halaj, he was took off the count for simply saying he was the truth. I am al-Haq. They actually got a picture of him actually hanging too. But these were supposed to be Muslim doing this now. You gonna kill somebody because they say they're the truth? But that's how it is though. The truth, has the ability to make people do things to you. Even if you are a man or of truth, a woman of truth, so to speak, and individuals can't get it, man, they'll try to do anything to drag you down into the bottomless pit, the abyss of the insufficiency of knowledge. I'm telling you, family. We ain't telling you what nobody told you. We telling you experience. So there are a couple of different measures here dealing with these words. Hold up. Now, why in the world they gonna go way to a whole nother? Okay, there we go, right there. Let's see here. We're gonna see if we can get back in here. Okay, there we go, right there. Okay. This is the word tabata, which means to be firm, steadfast, constant, established, remain in a place. Persevere in doing. But we can see this definitely is what our chapter talking about. Constancy instead of income. To strengthen, consolidate, fasten, tabut, steadfastness, stability. Not instability, stability. Firmly planted. A lot of people say, I'm standing on my square, on the 45. And, tabit, remaining firmly fixed, firm, steadfast. Tabata, which means to confirm, steadfast, confirmation, establishment, to confirm, keep in bonds, confine, restrain from doing a deed. Oh, that's very key. Do you have any restraint in you when you have the urge to do the unthinkable? How strong are you? Are you weak as creek water? Or do you know who made you? Firmly fixed, fixture, stability, strengthening. Let's go to another word. See if we got some more definition. Because most of them be tied to each other. Let's see here. Okay, here's another one right here. Ja'ala, to place, put, impose, make, create, appoint, constitute, ordain, attribute, establish, count, hold, regard, esteem, render, establish, change, substitute. Let's see here. Oh, that was the end of that one right there. Let's go a little further. Spirit and establishment of Jerusalem culture. Okay. Here's another one right here. Rashaka or Rasaka. To be firm, stable, rooted, established, deeply versed, firmly established, well grounded, firmly grounded people. Right? Let's go a little further. Oh, this is another drawing, Rasa, which is actually coming from that same root, to be firm, stable, immovable, still, lay at anchor. You got to drop that anchor. Oh my goodness. More ship. See, when you drop that anchor and you moor that ship, so to speak, that has to do with dropping that anchor, family, so that ship would not move. That's where the relationship is strong. That's where the tie is strong. Whatever that bond, it can be a friendship tie, it can be a marriage tie, it can be any type of tie. When you drop that anchor, it's firm, it's immovable, fixed firmly. Mursan, that which is fixed with regard to time or place. Arsa, he set or established something firmly. Rawesa, recite, man, it's going on. Mursa, there it is again. That's the word more. For a place, anchorage, mooring, arrival, coming to pass, firmly fixed, immovable. See, that's the real drawing right there. That's that golden cord of love that you talking about tying to that anchor. You know, we can also say that love line represents, you know, the line that's connected to the plumb. You know, here it is again, Sunnah, to clean the teeth, seize teeth, establish law, follow a path. There it is, Sunnah. Sinun, remember I say the footsteps of the prophet, line of conduct, line of divinity, mode of life, behavior, example, precedence, dispensation, form, made in the shape, polished, shining bright, molded in the shape. You know, when the Most High say, well, they say, yeah, he made you, he broke the mold. You know, so yeah, these some powerful demonstrations up here, family. We finna open up in a second here. This is another drawing here too, Istawa. It said when the great God Allah created the heavens and the earth. See, that's the word Sawiya. They were saying that earlier. To level, complete, make uniform, congruous, consistent in its part manner, adapted to exigencies, pardon self, requirements, perfect thing, put into a right good state. When it says that Allah created the seven heavens and he rose above them, the word rose, he rose, istawa, to establish, to become firmly settled, turn into a thing and direct one's direction to a thing, mount. Allah Sawan. So when we look at this drawing right here, that's seven heaven action right there. You know, it goes into all these measures: balance, firm, stood, firm, attain. It's the what he established. It's the great God Allah. Same thing. I mean, speaking the truth. We talked about Sadak and Sadiq already. Adila, establishing justice. You know, establishment of executive, legalistic type of religion that became dominant later. You know, this thing just go on and on. You can't really get past, you know, the Grand Quran with these words, because the great God Allah make it to where you can't get away with nothing. Look at him. Mustaqar, firmly fix or establish a fixed abode. Sojourn. Stay, O you ladies, according to some you linguists, karna, derived from the root that means to remain with grace and dignity. Goodness gracious. Respected manner. Boy, I tell you. You know, yeah. So, I mean, when you look at this here, all these different drawings, I mean, you can't get around it. You can't get around it, family. You know, we know what it means to be established in something. It means be firm. You know, it don't mean fake being firm. It means be firm. Be fixed. Hold that thought. So, you know, that's my last particular portion right there. And we just want to say gratitude to our family. You know, praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. So at this time, what we're going to do, we're going to open up the floor for our family so that they can give their special portion. And all is well. Islam. Peace and love. Star 65 more. Islam, Sister Cammy.
Yes, sir. This is Sister Cammy. I'm in Michigan. I rise, honor, and praise the great God Allah. I honor Prophet Noble Ali, officials, citizens, Moors here, there, and everywhere, especially my Moors kin. Won't that saying that as far as for the prophets from memory.
Yeah, he said he had to go around his elbow to get to his thumb in order to get what he wanted established in his government. Islam?
Islam, gratitude, God, man. Imitate I, the prophet. And I'm not in your garden. I'm an observant scientist. Your brain is of genius status. You going around your elbow to get to your thumb, imitating the prophet. And when you get to demonstrating about something that you're passionate about, such as the government, imitating the prophet, your brain goes around your elbow. And then you get to your thumb because you're a teacher, a master scientist, and a mastermind. Keeping up with your brain is a job in itself. If I can yield the floor because you got the teaching, then we only have 15 minutes and 7 minutes each. That's only 2. So I'll yield the floor, mastermind. Have you noticed that about your brain? Sorry?
Islam, sister?
Oh, man. Yes. You don't think I'm in your garden or disrespecting you or something, do you?
Nah, sister, you can't disrespect me.
Oh,
I don't move on that
I'm
vibration.
not trying to. Hold on, I'm not trying to disrespect you.
I know
we
now.
learn from each other. I just didn't want it to be taken out of context. Let me yield the floor so another more can get in. The establishing yourself and being firm. European ain't one of us. Since you want to act like you one of us. And if you one of us, is being a living thing that understands thirst and the necessity of water. You get on top, be kind to your peace. All right, let me stand down and yield the floor. Gratitude.
Islam. All right, next more. Islam. Any other more would like to come forth and give their drawing?
Islam. Islam. Can you hear me, God man?
More.
Islam.
Do you hear?
You want me to go ahead and give a measure?
No, you're all right, Sister Cammy. We waiting on somebody else to come in, guys. Thank you, though. Gratitude. Islam, brother.
Dr. Junior.
Daniels, Bay, South Carolina, Concert Agent. First, I rise and give praise and glory to Allah, the most merciful. And I give high honors to his holy and divine prophet, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, the last prophet in these days of time. And I give honors to Act 1 of our divine constitution. And I honor you, brother. Great class, always. And I honor all my brothers and sisters online. Peace and blessings. Peace and love. But brother, I was just I think it was Muhammad I was mentioning about that brother that brother Joe, and I was talking, and also God is great. I was speaking about Joseph too, and I think Muhammad might have broke it down, or somebody broke it down to where it was it's when you talk about Joseph being thrown in the well, it was like it was symbolic to us, you know what I'm saying, and coming back into ourselves. And but when I when I think about the Job character Job, I think about a man that that knew who he was and understood that the only thing that was real was himself, and because he knew that he was a part of his creator, and when his wife and others was trying to tell him to curse, all these things, he didn't do that. But he kind of like, he was saying things like, the day I was born, why did I have to come from my mother's womb alive, and things like that. But he never cursed himself, because, his God, because he understood that, he understood the truth, and it's kind of, it's unique and divine to come into that type of understanding, and no matter what you go through, nothing can take you off your principles, because you know that your principles is all that's going to save you in times of trouble, in times of decisions, making decisions, and even in sickness, you see, and once you hold on to the truth, you can get through all these things. I was kind of, because I was reading, because I got this one thing, and I put recording and just listen to things. But when I was thinking, because I had some things going on once too, and not long ago, and the thing what I was saying, I was saying to myself, it's like Job, you can do anything to this body, but you can't take this life, because this life can't be taken. You see, and that's the type of faith I had, and to understand. That's probably why I ran across that story and read about Job, that character, because prophet, whoever he was, but the faith that he had, and that's the type of faith I'm trying to hold on to. That faith that know who I am, despite everything falling down around me, I'm still me. I'm still, I still know who I am, despite all of that. And that's what pulled me through, because just knowing that I am divine and I come from a perfect source. And the only thing can take away that perfect source is my own will. If I'm willing to go off my to stand over there off of my principle, thinking something else can save me, or to go over there, or any of these things, because it's only the flesh. I am a spirit, but if I am the master of the flesh, that's the way I see it. I'm the master of the temple. So if the master keep his mind right and stand on his principles, despite what's going on with his carnal eyes, he sees things with his spiritual eye, and I believe that's what it takes more all the way through. I'm saying I think that's where divinity come in at, when a more has stand on his integrity, on his principles, and just have faith, and who just not only have faith but knowing who he is. And I think we can conquer it all. Peace and blessing, Islam.
And peace and blessings, Islam, brother, for that drawing. Gratitude, Islam, brother Marvin Edwards Bay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Dr. Ginger, he was saying to come on, and I was too on the panel. But apparently the panels, you can't hear.
Hold up, let me see something. I wonder, is my volume?
Because if so, then Dr. Ginger could unmute and come on. Because
I see what's going on.
I'm online.
I see what's going on, brother. My headphones was in the thing. I just pulled them out, so I couldn't hear y'all. I was wondering what was going on. Yeah, pardon.
Well, ask Dr. Ginger to come back on, because I'm going to meet out on your line.
Yeah, Islam. I was just looking, and I was like, what in the world? That's what's going on. I had my headphones in there. Go ahead, Sister Ginger, you there?
Islam, gratitude, God, man. I'll be brief. That did occur to me. First, let me rise and give praises to our great
You gotta be brief. It's fun. Give you measure because we'll add a little more time on there.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
Anyone who ain't told to hear no truth.
okay, because I didn't want to. I didn't want. I know we got other moors want to, but like he said, we was trying to get in there, but you couldn't hear us. But anyway, giving praise to the great God Allah, we give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Give honors to that one. I give honors to you, all my governor officials, and give honors to you, God, man, for this wonderful class and a powerful class. I tell you, I just enjoyed all of it. And the two ayahs that you was coming from, establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act according to them, and then establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. And I tell you, this was such a powerful, powerful class. And the first thing I thought about is when I was in the Piscine area, I thought about when it talks about a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And you talking about being establishing ourselves in the teachings and in the principles of the great God Allah and in the teachings of our holy prophet. And that when you went to that word rasa, oh man, that was so powerful. The Arabic word rasa, which means to be firm, stable, immovable, be still. And then you talked about dropping that anchor. And I thought about when that ship drops that anchor, man, that thing ain't going nowhere. And when you drop that anchor, when you are rooted and grounded in these teachings, you ain't going nowhere. And I also thought about that palm tree when you was talking about how we might be going through different things and we be going through the storms. And I thought about that old palm tree. You know that old palm tree, when them old storms come, that palm tree, them winds can be 150 miles an hour. But that old palm tree, he'll just lean over. And then when that wind stop blowing, he'll spring back up. And we got to be just like that palm tree. When the storms come, just lean with them. But you don't give up. You stand firm. And when that wind stop blowing, you spring back up to where you are. And I'm reminded of our holy prophet say he looking for strong men and women in these days and times. So gratitude, God, man. Powerful class. Gratitude for letting me share. I'm gonna stop right there. Islam, peace and love.
And Islamism, peace and love. That's right. Yeah, that date palm is most definitely resilient. It's got grand bounce back action. Islamism without the schism. That's right. That's what we talking about. The prophet said he needs strong Moors. All right, Brother Marvin, that was Bay.
Islam, gratitude. Yeah, this is Dr. Marvin Evans Bay, Consul General of the Texas Consulate, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Al-Haj Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. Give our honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give our honors to our Act 1. I give our honors to all of our officials. I give our honors to this class, our Moorish Prospectus class. So as I give honors to you, God, man, Dr. Shedo Amenti Amohesi Sepsuel, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, and host and instructor of this most powerful Moorish Prospectus class. As well as I give honor to all those that aided in bringing forth our class this evening. Give honor to everything that is Moorish, our flag, our seal, our emblem, our divine constitution, our holy Quran, our book of Ali, our 101, 102s, our exhuming of a nation. All of our divine revelations I give honor. I give honor to the forerunners of our prophet, Dr. Marcus Osegawa El. As well as I give honor to the ancestors, whose shoulders we stand upon. We are the return of the ancient ones. Give honor to those that gave their measures before me, and all that will give their measures after me. Yes, this is indeed a most powerful class. And as I look on the bottom, that's ayat 33, establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. I mean, that's powerful. You know, and he was stating earlier, talking about the Elohim, you know, I mean, as he was going through the one-on-ones, you know, the adept, you know, questions, you know, and I was just listening. I'm saying, okay, now, Elohim furnished him a body. And then I was reading in here that but those that furnished him a soul. You know what I mean? It just, I mean, my mind is just kind of like leap forward, so to speak. Trying to grasp all of this knowledge that you bring it forth, today. You know what I mean? And like I was thinking that he was coming from Ayat 9 also, establish unto thyself principles of actions, and see that thou ever act according to them. And I see how they, work hand in hand, establishing, actions on the manifest, which we know that, we have to make the decision. You know what I mean? We have to we have to establish the thought, because thought is the cause of it all, and which is a beautiful thing. And praise Allah for sending us a prophet, with all of these lessons, you know what I mean? So that we may bring ourselves in accord with the truth, the truth that makes you free, and this is so beautiful. And I'm just so grateful for being a part of this Morris American government, this divine and national movement. You know what I mean? We always have as above, so below. You know what I mean? This is a beautiful thing. And, just striving, just continue to strive, continue to uplift fallen humanity, as I uplift myself. You know what I mean? By establishing thy heart, O man, in that which is right. And then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. You know what I mean? That just shows to me, just give us a picture, you know what I mean? Another glimpse of who we truly are. You know what I mean? As man. You know what I mean? The law's vicegerent here on the earth. You know what I mean? This is so powerful. The prophet brought us everything to save us as a nation. And he brought us that which will make us shout about it. I mean, this is a beautiful thing, I tell you. And so I'm going to leave it with that and say gratitude, God, man, for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
And gratitude, Islam, and peace to you as well, grand man. Praise be to Allah. Well, all right. Is there any other more who would like to come forth?
Love the Bible.
All right, love.
I keep it kids because there's 60 million plus of us. So I would, as I said, we always write not a great of the universe and to have one, emblem, flag and all these things that belong to 60 million plus of our ancient forefathers other than gods and queens, divine and picture ancient forefathers. Like at the teach one night, we take a summit there, we're going to workshop of the mind. And we have a lot of chambers that they say within the mind where we have to go and study and clean up, you know what I mean? And then we have to get everything, like you say, put fast, because you see, what I've done and to us as a year, the number one, they say, we were like, we were the mainframe, and we were like, like in a shut down computer, you have to reboot it or start it up and everything, and that's the same thing with us, because, we get knocked off what our principle was. So I say, everything is come back to us, so we have to get these lessons, they say, submit our workshop of the mind, and master our ancient forefathers flag. So that I said, the family, here, there, and everywhere, like as I teach. Peace, love, and love by all God. Divine family. One love, one.
Islam. And one love to you as well, brother. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. All right. Islam. Is there any other more who would like to come forth and exercise their fire?
Islam.
Islam, brother Muhammad Bey.
Gratitude.
We'll get you Myers Bey in a minute.
Gratitude, grand man. Peace and love. Islam. Yes, I'm Dr. Gerald Hamid Muhammad Bey, Consul General of the South Carolina Consulate. First, let me rise in praise of our Father God Allah, who is the best knowing, the best arranger of all things. I give the highest honors to his holy prophet, our holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who is the last prophet of this new era of time. Now, he is the seventh manifestation in divine flesh, the seventh angel, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Giving much love, honor, and respect to you always, National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Morris America and the government, for sharing the divine knowledge and understanding and wisdom that your Father God Allah has bestowed upon you. Gratitude for all that you have done, that you continue to do, and you will continue to do. We love you, grand man, more than words can express. We give honors to Act 1 of our divine constitution and bylaws. We give honors to our grand national seal, our grand national emblem, and our grand national flag. We give honors to this theocratic government in which we all live and can live. We give honors to Marcus Messiah Garvey L., the harbinger and forerunner who opened up the way for our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We give honors to all of our Moorish kin, all of our visitors out there in the social media and public, to our student ministers, our angels, executive rulers, Mufti Corps, to everyone on this Moorish Perspective StreamYard Live National Conference call this evening. We give honors to those that spoke before us and those that will speak after us. And we give honors to absolutely everything Moorish. Grand demonstration, God, man. As always, gratitude, right and exact. Islam, topic on the floor. Ayat number 9. Establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act according to them. Ayat number 33. Establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. Oh man, as always, my beloved brother, you know you covered a lot of ground, and you know when I listened to the presentation and listening to the Moorish kin as they came forth and you know shared their file and gave their measures of the understanding. What I thought about, you know, in our divine lessons, you know, when it says when it says establish unto thyself principles of action. So I thought about in our lessons, it talks about what our Moorish science is. And it tells us that the science of the Moorish people is a power that exerts itself at the will of the user. Now we know that power comes from the force, right? And the force is relative to knowledge. Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us that understanding is the rock upon which man builds himself. So we know that there can be no understanding without knowledge. And as you so profoundly stated, we know that the scripture says how they translated it, that our people suffer for the lack of knowledge. And just as you stated, grand man, no, because this is the information age, and there is a great abundance of knowledge available. Well, in this Sacred Grove University of the Moorish American government and its nation, we are taught the difference between what is called human knowledge and divine knowledge. Divine knowledge, as you stated, grand man, our people suffer from the lack of knowledge of the truth. This is very key because truth is the foundational source by which, when it talks about the principles of action, all of the principles of action must be based upon the truth. Now, the next thing is the prophet taught us that, okay, thought is the cause of it all. That means everything begins with a thought. So when we're dealing with this truth, that means that we must establish first and foremost the truth within our thinking. And we must allow that truth to eradicate any and all thoughts that are not in line, in sync, in harmony with that truth. It's very important. Very important. So now, when I think about these principles of action, as you stated again, Grand Man, I thought about the Ma'atian law without going into the 40, right, acts of Ma'at. Ma'atian law based on justice, mercy, love, and right. All of this, again, is going back to what? You can't have justice, you can't have mercy, you can't have love, and you can't have right without right thinking. And right thinking can only be established on the truth. So, again, in our lessons, it talks about what is the nature of a war. Well, love of Allah, truth, self, and fellow man, of all creatures of Allah, trustworthiness, fidelity in all affairs, peace always first and foremost, freedom and expression in all constituted righteous acts, equality to promote the noble qualities of man. Now, when we're talking about the noble qualities of man, our beloved prophet gave us the highest principles known to man as far as quality. And that's dealing with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This word fidelity, faithfulness to a cause demonstrated by continuing loyalty and support, the degree of exactness, reliability, steadfastness, consistency, strength, and moral fortitude. That means we have principles that we actually live by. We actually stand on these principles because this is what being a Moor or a Moorish American is all about. We're taught in the lessons from our prophet, we must be the message that we bring. And this last part in closing, establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. Well, we know, our beloved prophet brought us everything. He brought us the questions and the answers. And we know that truth is immutable, means, right, the greatest human characteristic and personality trait is to be unchangeable, to be steadfast, to be able to, like you said, Grand Man, to stand in the face of all adversity, which is inevitable on this path, because anytime that one stands on truth, you can believe adversity and controversy is coming. And like you said, that's when the test comes. But when we lose ourselves in that of the holy breath, which is another name we give to truth, see, no longer is it just my will. It's not my will anymore, because the truth has become a total part of my thinking, my words, and my actions. So now I'm thinking in accordance with that truth. I'm speaking in accordance with that truth. And I'm acting, family, and I'm acting in accordance with that truth. So now, because I'm standing on that truth, and the truth can't be changed, that means also, it's not about me, but it means because of that, I am also unchangeable. The Moorish American government and its nation is built and founded upon these principles of action. Therefore, it stands, right? It stands against all opposition, all adversity, because there's absolutely nothing that can stand against truth, because truth is art and art is Allah. So we say Allah is leading on and victory is assured. Come home, family. This is where you can get it. Free your mind as we were freed at one time, because we were all captivated by the Negro, colored, Black, African American, Afro American, Pan Africanist mindset. That's not the way to go, family. That's enslavement, mental slavery, as the prophet said. Come home to this Moorish American government. www.moorishamericangovernment.land. Islam and gratitude. Grand class, grand man. Thanks for letting me share. Peace and love.
Islam, boy. Gratitude for the measure. All right, Brother Myers Bay. We'll go to the fishes after you.
Can you hear me, God, man?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother.
Islam and gratitude. All praises be to the great God Allah. Honor to his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islam. Once again, I rise and I give praise to the Almighty great God Allah. I give the highest honors to his holy prophet, our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. His high name, Sheikh El Haj Sharif of Drew Ali. I give high honors to the greatest forerunner ever, Marcus Mosaic Garvey L. I give high honors to our theocratic Moorish American government. I give high honors to Act 1. I give high honors to Act 1. I give high honors to Act 1. I give high honors to our theocratic, to our government officials, staff, and citizens. And I also give high honors to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Divine Minister, Dr. Shadu Amenti Amohedjit Shepswell for this grand Moorish perspective class today. And I also give high honors to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, our Moorish flag, grand emblem, grand seal. And I give honors to everything that is Moorish. All my Moorish kin that spoke before me, and all my Moorish kin that will speak after me. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Divine Minister Dr. Gary Myers Bay, Apalachicola, Florida Territory. And for this grand class today, God, man, I concur with all my Moorish kin. And for your subject on the floor, coming from our Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 63, the Holy Instructions from the Prophet Inconstancy, ayat 9. Establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act according to them. And then ayat 33, establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right. And then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. And like I said, I concur with all my Moorish kin. They spoke elegant, and from everything that I got from you, grand man, basically. As I listened, I just basically was hearing when you, like my Moorish kin said, when you basically demonstrated the ayats, you was basically let one know. When we look at establish, this is basically to take something and from our Moorish perspective, to take something and basically build it or have something that you really don't know about, but to take it and to build it into something that basically you can stand on. And we know that our Holy Prophet basically told us from chapter 11 of our Moorish Holy Quran, the friendship of Yehoshua and Lamas. Yehoshua explains to Lamas the meaning of truth, and he basically let us know in ayat 19, again, Lamas acts of understanding whatever you to say, and Yehoshua said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the diagnosis of odd and of not, and of falsehood and truth. It is the knowledge of the Lord's self and the singing powers of man himself. And basically, when I was looking at that ayat number 9 and listening to you, basically, like I said, you was basically letting one know that it says establish thyself principles. So number one, that's a self thing, meaning one has to go on themselves and understand that there's principles and there's actions of the principles, and our Holy Prophet brought us the 5 highest principles of man. So basically one has to take what our Holy Prophet brought and use those principles of actions, and it says, and see that thou ever act according to them. And basically this is knowing that these principles are what they are, and if you stand upon these principles, you can see the benefits of these principles, because these are the principles of our Creator, and these are the 5 highest principles. And also, these principles basically will lead to the other principles, because there's more principles, but you have to establish yourself first with something to gain the rest. And when I look at ayat 33, establish thy heart, O man, and that which is right, and then know the greatest of the human is to be immutable. And when I looked at that, establish thy heart, the first thing I did was went back to chapter 62, the holy instructions from the prophet, the instability of man. And ayat 1, the first thing it says is inconstancy is most powerful in thy heart. So basically, one is letting one know from this chapter chapter 63, ayat 33, establish thy heart, meaning that he's letting you know that inconstancy is basically already there, so you have to go in there and build from understanding. And all of this understanding comes once again from our holy prophet, because we know that our holy prophet brought us everything to take and save us as a nation. And what we have to do, from my understanding in this one, is basically take his holy instructions and put them in thy heart. And then the inconstancy and basically the instability of man can't stand, because now we've gained control of the heart. And all this goes back to chapter 1, where, our holy prophet lets us know that the great God, we're one with the great God, but also a finite mind can't comprehend infinite things. So our gratitude for letting me speak, God, man, and peace and love to all my Moorish kin here, there, everywhere. Islam, Islam, Islam.
Islam, more gratitude for that measure. Praise be to Allah. Well, all right, we're going to go to our officials now. And we're going to call forth our beloved goddess and queen, Sister Alceta Moonell, Assistant Grand National Secretary of the State. Can you hear me, sister?
Islam,
Islam.
gratitude, man. Could we rise and give our praises to Allah, and our honor to our Prophet Muhammad, honor to our Moorish American government, our officials of our government, and our citizens. Honor to you, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadul Mitchell, and Mr. Sheffield, for opening our conference call according to law, and for bringing forth a grand Moorish perspective this evening. Honor to our Sister National Grand Secretary of the State of Moorish America, Dr. Sheffield Bay, for taking registration. You know that we tried to speak. Honor to our Moorish brothers and sisters, divine ministers, citizens, Moors on the panel, on the StreamYard, and honors to subject matter, and our Moorish citizens. Honors on our topic on the floor. Ayat 9 and 33, establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou act according to them, ever according to them. And Ayat 33, establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right, and know that the greatest of human is to be immutable. Okay, the first thing came to mind when I listened to our ayat is comes from our chapter Inconstancy, holy instructions from the prophet, chapter 63. The first thing I thought about is what the prophet has done. He let us know that in the presence of our enemies, he created us a table. He prepared us a table. And so, by teaching us with these divine enzymes, the truth about being a pure and clean nation of Moorish America, with our free national name of Moorish Americans, our prophet started to build. The chairman gave a demonstration on that word, years ago. He said, "Oh man." And if I remember correctly, "Oh man" means listen, man. So when I think about that, pay attention, man. Pay attention, Moorish American nationals, to that which is right. The prophet is telling us, I gave you everything it takes to save a nation. I'll take it and save yourself. So do everything, follow the path that I've left clearly cut. Because everything I've given you builds discernment, teaches you to use reasoning, teaches you to develop understanding, teaches the will to be strong, because we remember everything that we've been taught. And thinking is inevitable. I mean, you've got to think once you have all these principles and all these lessons intact. And so that's what it came forward, because that's what it brought to mind for me, because the prophet teaches, or I should say, one thing I've learned from myself is, before I knew the prophet, before I knew I was a Moorish American, I was good at being consistently inconstant, because I thought, what? I don't have to worry about it. Do what I want and keep it moving. Don't finish what I start. Say what I want. Hurt people feelings. Go about my business, because they hurt mine. And everything else that we all been through in our experiences of being inconstant before we had these lessons. Now that I know this, I have to do the right thing. And that's something that I have to hammer in to myself. Always do what's right. Because sometimes you don't feel like it. Because you got these little buttons that you let people push. They have to stand in your square. Because, somebody will always try to take you off your square. Because they don't want to see, oh, you say you're a Moorish American national. Or you say you're a Muslim. Let me see how strong you are. Remember, it says Satan is right going to and fro the earth, seeking whom he may devour. So you can always try. And once you realize how invisible one is, he can go about his business. So that's why these teachings, these divine laws and lessons are important to build character. Islam is just for calling for peace and love.
Islam. Gratitude. That's right. Struggle build character. Islam. Well, all right. Let us call forth our National Grand Mufti, Dr. Khonshu Mark Heru Bey. Islam. You there, Grand Man?
Islam.
Islamism.
Islam. Gratitude, Mazel. We rise first and foremost, giving all thanksgiving, adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God, Allah, great God of the universe, the most beneficent and the most wise, and we give the highest honors that we can give to His prophet. Our prophet, the last prophet in these days and in these times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Savior of humanity. Give honor to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we give honor to his government. Our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live according to Act 6. Give honor to the officials of this said government, divine ministers, the angels, Mufti, our royal council, secretaries. We give honor to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. Give honor to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, Holy Quran, Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, Book of Fire, the Exhument of a Nation. Give honor to everything that is Moorish. We give a special high honor to you, National Sister Grand Sheikh, the Sadu Minty and Medju Chef Subel, for bringing forth this Moorish perspective this evening. Give honor to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us. Moorish kin that will speak after us. We give honors you angels. We just continue to give the honors where they're due and honoring all true and divine prophets. And of course, we give honors to our ancestors. They have come before us, leading the way, and we are them today without doubt or contradiction. But no one has the power to change man. It's the set nature and praise Allah had in this grand class, and it is very important to establish, our heart in that which is right. Very important to make sure that that which fulfills us is right, because if it's wrong, it's not going to last. So when you establish yourself those things that are right, you are establishing, as one would say, life everlasting. You're establishing joy to your life and to your being, because these things are what comes with right, the highest self, the harmony of life, the mothers of the virtues, which breathes mercy, love, and right. And so when you establish in your heart right, you're establishing a place for the higher self, a temple, a perfected man where divinity we are made from can exist and reside. This is, as I say, the greatest of humans, to be immutable is to not change from that. Not be swayed by the cares of the world, by the temptations that is in front of you. Because we know one presents the apple that looks shiny and bright and sweet. When you bite into it, it's full of bitterness and gas. It really ain't all what it's except to be, like they say. The grass look green on the other side till you get over there and find out it's astroturf, that it ain't even real. That's why it looks like that. And, you're being fooled by artificial nature. So, it's us. Because we are divine beings, because we are the children of the Most High, we are the gods and goddesses. We have to establish, create, and sustain that part of right in our heart. Because, we have other things to put in our heart. Our love for our family, our love for the truth. And also love what's right. Righteousness take us so far, farther than any other get rich quick scheme, any other avenue that seems be beneficial. Because, see, when you build with a solid foundation, you can build as high as you want. When you, as they say, the corners, and use cheap material, a demonstration blown away with any wind. We see how the tornadoes come through and they just demolishing these homes. Why? Because the homes ain't built with brick no more. These ones are built with plywood and mesh, composite boards and things that are really solid, that are not really built, last through the ages. This is why we look at the architecture today, and in the roads, they can't even build the roads to last. Along the buildings don't even have the same artistic work and value to the building, because they have decided to go with those things that are against the right and universal way of doing things, especially when it comes to building something that's supposed to last. So, it's just been a grand class, man. We wanted to honor you for the class this evening, honor all of our first kin, sympathizers, and supporters for being here with us today and giving us time, attention, and respect. We love you. Islam and peace.
Islam and peace to you as well, brother. Gratitude for that measure. Praise be to Allah. Islam. Well, all right. Let us call forth our National Grand Secretary of the State, Sister Shepsut Rakat Mad and Pooh, to come and bay. Islam, you there, goddess and queen?
Closest of thought. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Islam Morishkin, first of all, will rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, with angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish kin. Giving honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh for opening our meeting according to law and also hosting this grand Moorish Perspectives class tonight, giving honor to Act 1 and to our family online. The measures were grand, all of those Moors that spoke before me and those Moors that will speak after me. Subject matter, establish unto thyself principles of action and see that thou ever act according to them. Establish thy heart, O man, in that which is right. And then know the greatest of human is to be immutable. And I tell you, Dr. Shahi, this has been such a powerful, very enlightening class as always. There were a few key points that really spoke to me in reference to being able to solve the fix and being foundated, which means that no matter what, Allah is all, and standing upon that truth. That master question that you brought forth, how long can you hold a particular thought before you become distracted? You know, whether it be from the calamities of the human state or what have you. So when you are able to hold that thought, no matter what, then you've reached a level of fruition or self-mastery. And the other thing that really struck me is in reference to going back through the books of divinity in reference to what our prophets have gone through, and that invariably you are going to find yourself with particular calamities that the prophets have gone through as far as the tests and lessons learned. You can make that applicable to the self, and that's also another way how you put yourself in these lessons. You know, this is our prophets had to learn, so indeed do we. And I just wanted to give you much gratitude for defining these words and showing how they are interconnected when it came down to establish. What stood out to me, in addition to being still, was that line of conduct, knowing how to act. We have a divine constitution and bylaws that has 7 acts that make it plain, in addition to all the other holy books that our prophet has brought to us, and giving honor to the Zimming of a Nation, Book of Ali, Hadiths. All of these things give us wisdom so that we don't have to continue to make the same mistakes. That's why our prophet was divinely prepared and sent to us. So these principles of action is what we have to stay on. And establishing ourselves in what is right is key. Because if you don't establish yourself in what is right and you're establishing yourself on a shaky foundation, then you know invariably that thing's going to crumble. So no matter what, Allah is all. And this is what self-determination is about. So gratitude more for calling me forth. Much peace and love to all of my Moorish kin, grand class, Islam.
In Islam, gratitude, Grand National Secretary of the State, Grand Droid, praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. Well, we already know our Grand National Chairman on the manifest, because the question asks, who made you? Islam. You there, Grand Man, Grand National Chairman of Moorish America?
You said, who made me?
Islam.
I wish a member would. The great God of Allah. Whew. Man, let me rise your praises to that great God. Give much honor to the last prophet these days and time. The last prophet. Man. Well, this is a powerful demonstration of praise Allah for this great journey and every move that's on this mission. And it's a wonderful thing to be a part and parcel of such divinity when it comes to our divine constitution and bylaws, come to our holy prayer, come to our national flag and seal and emblem, and more than just a wonderful thing, more it's just, and welcome home, welcome home, welcome home. And it's a wonderful thing, and we miss all of you. So stay strong, Moors, and It ain't gonna be but a minute. Islamism without a schism. Peace and blessings. We love you.
Islam. Peace and blessings to you as well. We give honors to the whole tribe of endurance over there. Goodness gracious. If y'all don't know how to get these foes up out of there, goodness gracious, who I wish a member would. But let us call forth our National Grand Sheikh, Dr. Serapis Amin Rael. Islam, you there, Sheikh? If your apparatus acting crazy, I understand, Sheikh. Yeah, Sheikh, it's a little minute there.
That's 3 of us tonight just to have phone
Islam, Sister Cammy, it's time for the officials, got it.
Right.
You know, nobody speaking between that time. Islam. All right, Sheikh, can you hear me?
Islam.
There you go.
We hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. We hear you now.
Islam?
Islam.
Praise Allah. Thank you, God, man. We give a lot of praise as we rise. Highest honors to his love, though. As she comes with no surprise. Prophet. It was you, Ali. Gave us everything. I mean, everything that takes to make us free. Give honors to that, brother. Honor to our bishops, our staff, Grand Mufti, Sister Grand Mufti, and Mufti Court, bad ministers, student ministers, like this Royal Council, our sisters, sympathizing supporters. Give honors to all honors due. And if you have honors coming, we extend our honors to you. This is a very powerful message sheet, and you're giving us in the room of resolution and the table of preparation made this meal just right and for us this evening, and to give us a stern lesson in what we call being able to discern that which is right and to disclaim that which is wrong, be able to get a drawing off of which one we standing on. And we know, coming from where the prophet has taught us, we stand in the road of the table of the right, the righteousness of truth, and give one's high honors back to bear that sacred name, one who is true and not falsehood, strange and mixed. There's only 2 roads to go. And we truly go to the road of truth, and look at the falsehood as if to say, we know about you, and we will not go that way. We won't look that way. And we strive as practitioners of this divine science, be clothing our mind with the right thing, to always have the right thought before we put it out there in the ethers. That way we will be able to discern the message of being between truth and falsehood strange and mixed. Because falsehood strange and mixed is what gets us in trouble, because we can't sometimes discern which one is right, which one is wrong. But if we stand with the prophet, stand with Allah, stand with our Moorish kin, where can we go wrong? Praise Allah for this grand demonstration sheet. Thank you for the food that you put on our father's table this evening. We are full. Thank you. January 15, 1929, a warning from the prophet to be read in every meeting. Everybody inform all citizens that they must end on radical, agitated speeches on their own working and on just peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards in Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Very to obey these orders to feel severe consequences. We are the world, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any citizen, a group of citizens, who hold religious feelings towards the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant, the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law, the laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing interpretive affairs, and return to the state by the prophet found you. This is a holy divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet therefore is setting out a divine plea to all Muslim Americans. But they do their part in protecting the prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet, whose will of Allah to deliver people from the sinful way. By order of prophet Noble Jew Ali. Divine warning is supreme laws, man, and will be enforced by the said government hereby. Islam, Islam, Islam. Holy covenant of the Asiatic nation, you are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you suck. That the bonds of perfection therefore unite thee with thy brothers in peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger for thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity assist him, if thy sisters in trouble forsake her not, so shall the fortunes of our Father tribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meeting is pushed to close according to Act 2 of our divine constitution, and love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Go in peace, boys. It's love to you. Tomorrow's Sunday school. We'll see you there. Peace.
Grand class, Dr. Shahid.
Class, National Assistant.
Yes, don't forget to pay your dues. Don't forget to pay your dues.
Great class, Dr.
Love you,
Shahid.
Morris.
Better do that one. Peace and love, Morris.
Great class, great
Oh,
class.
Islamism.
Islam, Morris.
family.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, family. We love you.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Islam.
Islam. And Islam to our family out there that checked in as well. Brother Tyrese Bay, Noble Bryan, Lisa Nicole Moria Bay L, Charles YL, William Randall, Marquise, Sunshine L, Trenton Lee, all of y'all, Terrence the Great, yeah, Born Dog, all of y'all, Brother Jehudi, and creator of the boundless universe. Praise be to Allah. Islam. All right, more. The best is yet to come. See y'all in Sunday school, from whence the guides and the guiders of the nation arrive and arrive. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Islam, 9 o'clock.